Um, Jenny, can you? I don't know how you feel about this, and I mentioned this before, but are you like willing to talk a little bit about how what it's been like as a female in a quote unquote man's world of car design, if it's been an issue for you at all, or what maybe just what you've experienced, if anything.
Yeah, I mean, it's like I think I didn't really realize until I was really in school that I'm like, okay, it is very rare to see female design students or even female designers in automotive field. But while I'm working or while I was in school even, honestly, it was pretty. I mean, the way I tried to think was like, I tried to think that it's, that I'm not, and they're not, like they're not necessarily a male student and I'm not necessarily a female student. And cause what I noticed that was a bit dangerous was, oh, you're pretty good for a girl, It's like, there's this
Did people say that? People say that? Yeah,
some people, yeah, I can hear that, and I'm like, oh, that's very, dangerous. Because if it gets to my mindset, then that's it, So but I surrounded myself with the friends who weren't like that, like who were really pushing, like, Jenny, you can do better. I know you can do better. Like, and my good friends through school, throughout at Audi, at Lucid, I think everyone was never, I felt like I was very lucky that I met colleagues who were very supportive, very trusting, and they believed in, what I can do. And I think what I noticed was that I have friends who are in like graphic design or other design field also who are a little bit maybe not like in car industry, but because car industry is so small that there's a lot less of this incidents or rude comments or like everyone's very being careful and respectful, and I think I love this job because I love the people I work with, and I really think maybe I was lucky one, but I felt like all the mentor I had, female or male, was very supportive and trusting, and also or a junior designer I had to work with when I became senior, they were all very respectful and really good people, and good designers, and very inspiring. So I don't think I still don't feel like I usually forget that I'm the only girl in the team, or but what's cool is I see a lot more, like a lot more
girls,
in the students in the field. Currently I'm working with, in our design team, there's a female digital modeler, three female digital modeler, one clay modeler, female clay modeler. We have our interior design director is Joanne Zhang. She's woman, and we recently hired a female interior designer from Citroën, Alexander, and she's also and so it's like you see definitely more and more portfolio coming in, and good ones, not just a number, but really really good students. So
when you think, I mean, when you think about the bias that historically, and it still goes on today in certain places, but when you think about the bias of, like, you sketch pretty good for a girl, it's such a stupid, narrow-minded concept to say, because, like, if you think about fashion design, for example, or design in general, the craft of drawing or making something look good. Again, if you were to be biased in any particular way, you would say that historically, like, females would generally have a better disposition to, making something pretty, and beautiful. When you think
Could
about
say
it
that
from,
too. Yeah.
if you want to, if you were to bias it in one way or another, but I think the big misconception comes in is because there's the automobile involved, and the automobile is associated with males, and
definitely.
it's really, really cool to see more girls, not just in the studio, because there have always been females and ladies in the studio.
Definitely.
But I haven't seen many female exterior designers, for example. And it's so cool, like, meeting people like Anna Forschner or Christine, for example, and now yourself.
Yes.
And there's been a few others that I've tried to get on as well, but for whatever reason, it's not been able to materialize. But that's why it was so, it was really cool that, that we were able to have this discussion, because the bottom line is that there just aren't that many female designers, exterior or interior, to be honest. It's becoming more common now, but it's historically it's not been a common thing at all.
Right. Yeah, I met some of my when I was in school, lower term students who were in car design, and they sort of kind of moved on to doing something else. A lot of the reason was actually not thinking that they have to be very much like a gearhead, or I don't know, is that like a bad word to say? Maybe it's just
no.
Interest
Nothing is bad. Nothing is bad.
But they were like, I don't know if I'm passionate enough, and I'm like, okay, that's a valid reason not to do something, because it needs a lot of commitment. But sometimes there's this misconception that, like, because I have less basic knowledge of the car, I won't be able to do this job competitively. So it's and what I'm realizing the more I build a career is that technology is moving so fast, engineering technology and both manufacturing technology, and everyone is learning along the way. And of course you need to, if you love it, you need to like study it, and at our center too, like they teach you basic engineering and architecture, some safety, structural things. There's all the classes for that it basically what designers should be aware of. And it's not that you need to be in the garage building the car since you were little. You could be someone else who are not like that background, but still bring something cool to the table. So I do want to whenever there's a chance, I do mention that to female designers who are interested. And if you're not interested, that's but if you're really interested, then I want them to know that it's an option. Yeah.
Well, yeah, it doesn't, just because you know more about the car, or, a specific like obscure alpha from like 72 or whatever the case is, it doesn't necessarily mean that you are going to be a better designer at the end of the day.
Yeah.
Because those two things, it's like, okay, so, your inspiration might come from a traditional route,
right.
but it could also, you coming into the business from a completely fresh perspective might also give you an unusual result that somebody that's been immersed in cars their whole life might not necessarily think about,
Right, definitely. It's a natural thing once you're in it, like you really, your interests grow and you start to get to know a lot more of those, things. And then you're growing, but it's a natural thing. It's not like that you need it's a requirement before you need to get into the industry or things like that. So, definitely, I think it's a cool thing to talk about.
Yeah, I
Definitely,
mean,
yeah.
there's different. I think the key thing is that there's a difference between being a petrol head and
Hmm.
being somebody that wants to know how things work, how things go together, and learning how to challenge the rules, and to come up with innovative solutions. You need to be curious. And I think that
Exactly, yeah.
those are really important attributes to have, rather than being an expert on, the last 100 years of motoring. That's not necessarily going to equate to you being a better designer or an engineer for that matter.
Definitely, yeah.
Um, Jenny, how has your experience been in startup land? I mean,
Mm,
I know that like Lucid's been, for the little bit that I know about it, it's a pretty you guys have come up. I know there's a lot of other stuff going behind the scenes that none of us mortals get to see, but you guys have created a really amazing product that looks
mhm.
incredible, and innovative and all the rest of it. And I wondered if you could elaborate on, like, not necessarily, I mean, without getting into company specifics, but maybe
Mm,
just do a quick comparison between like
mm,
traditional OEM versus working in a more tech environment.
mhm. Yeah, I mean, there's of course a bit of a limit where when I say about Audi experience or Volkswagen Audi experience, because I was in Santa Monica studio, and that was sort of the main reason for me. A limitation of this involvement in following through the projects and building up that experience, manufacturing part, industrialization part, and pushing, having a meeting with engineering team parts, that was all lacking from my experience. But and Lucid, when they reached out to me, they had that. They were like, okay, you don't have to move to Germany or Michigan or to do that, to go to headquarters to do it. Here we'll be a really small team. We'll be able to build something really cool together in house. You'll be here, we're here, because I ended up talking to a lot of the engineering team when I was interviewing, and that was the main driver, and also was the experience. So uh, um, I'm sure a lot of the people who are working in headquarter will probably experience the same thing, but just bigger scale, right? Like takes more time to get a feedback. But here, I think to us, when we kind of started, it was really like we have we have a chance that not many people have, to create something completely new, new story, new brand, new car, new look, new character, new experience. But it's like you could do it really well, or you could just, that's it. So it's it's a huge risk, but at the same time, it's such an exciting opportunity. So for me, my whole thing was, I knew that Derek was coming when I was joining,
Oh, so
and
he
I've
wasn't there
only
yet.
no, he wasn't. He joined like right after. So
Okay.
when I was at DCC, I've only heard great things about him, and some of the DCC people were already at Ativa at the time,
Yes.
name of the Lucid,
Yeah. Yeah.
and they recommended me to come, and they were like, yeah, and we're bringing Derek. And that was like, okay, I've only heard great things about him, like, and I can trust he's, design taste and leadership, and from little that I know, but still. And because the biggest everything, like having a great new opportunities, starting from something new, like everything is great. But if I was still a young designer, if I was leaving all this great team, JC and Reto, all those Alex Earl, those really awesome guys. I need to know that this team is great, where I can still build and learn and build my career with under great leadership, and that was one of the main reason I was able to say, okay, I should take a chance. But of course, there's risk, right? Like, okay, what if he comes in and he really have a whole team that he wants to bring? Maybe he doesn't really like my work, or it's like, how do we? But that was like this sort of the moment I had to make a decision. Like, do I take a chance and show him what I can do, or just wait and hopefully that he likes my work? It's like, but then I just really wanted that chance. I just really wanted to join the team. Once I met those people, I was like, this is going to be an amazing journey. Like, I even though it's going to be pretty tough, rough it was, but I really wanted to be part of it, and luckily it was the right choice.
How big is the team though? There's not that many people.
Even right now, you mean?
Yeah. Well, at the when you joined
yeah. I mean, when I joined, the whole number of the whole company, all engineering and everyone, was 130 or something, 130, and then now we have like over 2,000. So.
Oh wow.
At that time, and design team was even smaller, I guess, for sure, because that was exactly when they were starting to form. So the whole experience was, we call it it's a chaos, but you can really have a big influence, and that's a really fun part, like. Yeah. Even though it's stressful, if you are proactive, you can get the feedback, you can get the answer, you can sit in all the different type of meeting with supplier, and you don't have to say okay to all the no's, and you get to really like ask stupid questions to engineers, and I think that was the coolest part, where like, like, why can't we do this? Like, and even when I don't really know the answer, but and that conversation was the really fun part. So I look back my 6 years and of course in between there's all this little different design projects, but the whole the most kind of challenging and exciting part for me was that involvement, like discovering all this process of manufacturing the car, and that's really the part that I was missing, doing so many like scale and full size of design models of all this cool brands, but at the point when I was moving on, it was not enough, somehow, and I don't know if he remembers this, because I was working with Richard Kim at the time at DCC, and he was a manager for the project we were working on for like over a year on this model, and he told me like, okay, Jenny, you live in Santa Monica, you working for this cool brands, either you enjoy the life and work balance, or you go to somewhere you can build career. And he might not remember saying that, but it really kind of like made me think, and it wasn't the right time for me to think about like life and work balance. It was the time for me to really like grow, or like become a designer that I want to be, Yeah. So that also helped my decision, I guess. But honestly, I'm sure, I mean, it was such a good training, doing Audi and Volkswagen times, because I mean, It was a dream studio for me out of school. They were there was like Porsche project, Bentley project, Bugatti projects. I mean, it's like a dream studio, and somehow, I feel so lucky that I was able to work with those, amazing people, and then here at now Lucid, building something new.
And there were amazing people there. I mean, I didn't realize that you were there at the same time as JC Pavone. Alex Earl is still there. I understand. I don't know.
Yeah.
And also Richard Kim. I didn't realize that he was there at the time
Richard
as
Kim.
well. Wow.
Yeah, it was really, really fun.
That's
really
incredible.
A lot to learn from. Yeah.
Where exactly is the Lucid studio? Because I always thought it was San Francisco, but it's not actually San Francisco, is it?
Yeah, it's in East Bay.
It is.
So so the Fremont is like right across the bridge from Silicon Valley, like main Silicon Valley area. I would say where Apple and so we're like 3 minutes away from I would say 5 to 10 minutes away from Facebook headquarters. So that's Menlo Park. So we're like right across from there. I live in San Francisco. A lot of people live in San Francisco and drive, or South Bay, San Jose. And then some people with bigger families, they live in East Bay area. So Fremont to, So it's right there. So it's about 30 to 40 minute drive from San Francisco to our headquarters.
Which is not that much for that part of the world, right? It's because normal people are used to doing like 2-hour commutes over there, right?
Yeah. Well, I was, when I was in school, got my first job at Audi to Santa Monica. It was Pasadena to Santa Monica, so that was kind of a similar drive. But there, the traffic is horrible. So right now, I'm not complaining.
I know a friend of mine was working at Apple, which is in Cupertino.
Yes.
Is it Cupertino? Yes.
Cupertino, yeah.
Right, Cupertino, and he was living in downtown SF, I think, and he was commuting like two and a half hours one way, and driving as well. That's got to be dangerous. That's got to be so dangerous, like, or doing that all the time.
Yeah,
it's mental.
I lucked out because I started living here when it was already in pandemic mode. Everyone's working from home, and it's not anytime soon they're gonna come back. Like tech companies, especially, they're they're being more careful, I guess, before they're collecting all the employees in the same space. So, I mean, car design, you have to be there. So I've been going there, but it's not too much traffic. Pretty good. Just easy freeway time. I like it.
Jenny, can you talk to me a little bit about your transition into management and what like key differences you've experienced?
Yeah. So I guess when Alex left, I had to kind of slowly. The thing about he really wanted to make sure that a lot of the engineering meeting he was taking me along so that I see how he works with the engineer. I see how he responds to certain decisions, and of course I'm still learning a lot from Derek too, because the way he works with the engineering team chief and the members. But when he left, I had to like really be proactive and like fill that gap. And thankfully, Derek was really kind of trusting with a lot of things that I can carry on his work. So it was somehow I was pushed into the position to learn a lot of things. So even though I got the position not too long ago, but I was kind of doing the job, I guess. The new things now, would be kind of assignments asking me to kind of course, delegate more works to junior designers and that we have, and oversee some of the works. But still, he wants me to also be like a lead designer, actually do a lot of kind of designing work, so I'm still kind of sketching and working with digital modelers and taping clay and doing all that together. But with the Air, I had to really kind of be comfortable kind of presenting even to like CEO, and to always be ready to kind of talk about our kind of issues and troubles, what needs to be kind of discussed with the other team members. So kind of leading that type of meeting was a new thing to do. But it was really fun. Like it's like I had in the beginning, I had to write down a lot of things that I don't know what that means. Like I go back, like search and go back, ask, like there's, like we have digital modeling team who are also very experienced in production, and if there's enough people that I can ask around different things and try to be prepared to a lot of things. So that was really helpful. Yeah.
Jenny, how did you adapt to doing the like big presentations to CEOs, for example?
Yeah, I mean here. It's a small team member, right? So the numbers, not like, even when we're coming all together, it's like handful of people and sometimes more, but try to be I try to be assertive, like not timid, and be sure what I prepared is right, and always have engineers who, for that subject matter presence, that we can discuss about what's been discussed. But that was sort of frightening in the beginning, but I tried to, it's the thing is, like, it's been so long. I've seen him for 6 years. He's very hands-on. Like Derek and Peter, he's been chief engineer, but also he's now our CEO. It's been a while now, but they're very hands-on people. They are very like, even the smallest issues, they want to know. We try to have meetings pretty often. So yeah, it's different from, I remember the GM internship when I was, it was like proper 3-month first internship, and I had to present to a VP of design, what's his name, Edward Wallen. And I was like shaking my like microphone because there was like the 50 directors in front of me. But wow. It's so it's a different. I think that's also why it's a different experience. Like I'm grown too, but also because it's a small our team type of mentality that doesn't make me like nervous to discuss things. Like I try to. We have an issue, then we need to solve it, and everyone feel the same way. Then there's no reason to to worry about that's issue is more important. So,
do you know anybody that's kind of gone for like public speaking courses, for example, to get over those sort of things? Are there people that do that?
I was talking to actually one of the other instructor about this in class, because some designers just are not comfortable in public speaking or presentation, and it's really hard for them to, because he was mainly talking about, he's a manager at Hyundai, and he wants his designer to be very no, I wouldn't say presentable, but like, he needs to be able to trust him to be like, like, okay, this is what I did, my work. And that was, he was kind of telling me about that story, and to students that you want that to be already trained and be really good presenter already from school, that it is important. Like, it's not about talk. Of course, you need to be able to bring your work, but you want to be the person who knows about the subject and your own project so much that you're confident speaking about it. And I try to, at school, in our class, we have we have an instructor who's coming in just for the presentation skill. And she points out all the presentation mistakes. Like, okay, you said, many times, or, even like, okay, the way you ended with like, this was my presentation, was really like discouraging or really was depressing, or, she really like tells you all the little things. And that, I thought that was really awesome. Like, so I think we'll try to keep that, I think, in the class. But
it's a really important
Yeah.
thing, isn't it?
Definitely,
It's super important, because you could have a really good project could just not get noticed, or not, people could just not pay attention to it because you haven't presented it in a confident way, and it can cost.
Right.
It's something that's probably not talked about. Communication is very, very important, and
Definitely.
which I'm
Yeah.
terrible at. Yeah.
What? No, Derek, my first couple years at Lucid too, like Derek was always like, okay, like he was really encouraging me to speak up more. He put importance in like, okay, I want to hear your opinion. I want to, like, you need to speak up. Every time we were doing a employee review or things like that, because it could be because I was from German company trained in the beginning, like it, where your
there's a hierarchy, yes.
is pretty like, okay, if your director wants this, then you do it, kind of thing. And which is still sort of true. I mean, that's what you should do, but you should be able to say what you want, and what was your thought, what's your opinions. So yeah. Still learning. Definitely.
Jenny, have you ever thought about going back to Korea?
For work?
Taking over the Far East.
I mean, someday, yeah, it would be cool. Yeah, I mean, I still have all my family still there. I still visit every year.
Has your dad gone back?
Yeah, my
Has your
mom,
dad gone
dad,
back?
my sister. Yeah, they're all in Korea. Yeah, it would be amazing. Yeah, right. I'm happy that I can say after 6 years that I still feel like there's room to grow and room to learn at Lucid, and there's a project that I'm very excited about, that I can still see my future here. And I'm, I mean, Derek's like, and Simon, and they're like amazing mentors. So still, and I try to be that to our team too, so yeah. But in the long future, I could totally, my husband's Korean too, and maybe we'll find some some cool opportunity together. Then we'll think about it. Yeah.
I read that you are you speak Japanese as well, and do you still speak Japanese?
So I was like third grade when I was living in Japan.
Okay.
So at that time,
Okay.
I was only speaking Japanese. So I can still, when people make conversation in front of me or watch a movie, I can still understand a lot of the conversation. But the word, like a more professional words or difficult sentences or words, don't really get. I'm like a elementary school level.
Okay.
Yeah.
Cool. Jenny, listen, I think we're probably gonna wrap up soon, and I think what advice would you have for the young girls out there wanting to become car designers?
Well, it's not an easy job, but I think if you like it, if you love it, and if you're passionate about it, then I think you'll really enjoy it for a long time. So don't, if there's things that makes you wonder only because you're a girl, then yeah, don't even think about that and just get into it. Show the world what you can do.
Cool.
Was it cheesy?
No, that's fine. That's absolutely awesome.